Are we ready to record? I'm ready to record. This is Flosstube 10, take 2. It is Saturday, June 26th when I'm recording this. Um, I don't know when you'll be watching this or if I even get it uploaded by the end of the day. But I did record a whole session this morning and then realized that the microphone wasn't working at all. So it was very animated, silent movie, which works for some things, but not for Flosstube. So the pro is I get to rethink all of my flubs from before, and also you get to see me a little bit more cleaned up. Um, Me and my husband went out to fancy lunch today. We wanted to celebrate our anniversary, but we didn't want to go in the Saturday night dinner crowd where it's always kind of crowded. So we went out to lunch and did the most romantic thing ever, which is running errands, because that's when you do when you're our age and you've been together so long. You go to the grocery store. So that was it. So I got to clean up for a little bit from my t-shirt and sweatpants this morning. Um, Welcome to my floss tube. My name is Jess. I'm Spring Heeled Stitches, the cross stitching cryptid. And if Stitchcon brought you to me, welcome. And I hope you enjoy what I have. I will say, as you can probably tell a little bit from my background and what I have, is I love doing pop culture, snarky stitches, gothic and witchy stitches. So a little bit more of an alternative flair from the usual stuff you might find on Flosstube. So if you enjoy that, welcome and hope you stay. I also do know, because there's so many very nice people I met at StitchCon, proper, nice, well-behaved people who would never utter a curse word in their life. I curse. I will probably have a curse word slip out during this. So that's there. I would say I'm a more of a PG-13 prime time sitcom you would watch kind of curse, instead of like a raunchy podcast that you must listen to with your headphones on kind of curse, which I watch both. So if you watch either and you're cool with that, welcome. Um, so yeah, if you're seeing a lot of stuff in the algorithm coming by, you've probably seen a lot of people talking about StitchCon. I talked about what I was getting ready for in my last video, and now StitchCon is done. The last 2 weekends have passed, so we're sad that it's over, but mostly sad because we got so used to waking up with no work and no kids, no dogs for me, and going down and having your coffee and your breakfast and your comfy clothes and sitting around with a table of your best buds and sitting and spilling the tea and having some fun. And it's like, oh, you just wish you could do that every day. You get so used to it. But then all good things must come to an end. And we come back and we treasure our moments that we had together. And we look forward to the next time we get to meet up. And then, of course, we can share um, that fun and keep that community with our stitching. So um, I have a couple of things I'm going to do. So I'm going to break this up in a couple, 3 segments. I'm going to go what I got, what I bought, and what I stitch. So I'll go through my free gifts that I got, and then I'll go through my haul, and then I'll show you what I stitched up at StitchCon. I actually did get some stitching done, believe it or not. That would be devastating. So I just got there and said I got all this free time, and I didn't stitch a thing, but I did make sure I stitched a lot. I tried to make the most of my time at StitchCon this year. So let me start off by my freebies. What I got, what I got, all free. And then I will also say that I brought my pattern. Oh, sorry, there was a burp there. Like I said, I had a fancy lunch. And I'm cracking up because day 2 I realized that I forgot to put a stitch here. I was so like determined to proofread this and make sure the bottom part was great. I was soaking it out, and then I just like printed this out, printed out like 80 copies, didn't even notice that they were wrong, and then later at StitchCon went, oh my gosh, this is wrong. There's a stitch missing. So when I posted it on Instagram and the Facebook post, I said, like, this is really made by a human, and you know, an empty-headed human sometimes, because I forgot the one that stitch ghosted off. So I'm going to fix that pattern, re-upload it to my Google Drive if you would like to take that pattern. And again, I told everyone who wanted to have this, you can use the text to do whatever you like with it. You can put a border on it. You can stitch it in a different color. I don't really care. It's something just for fun, just for community. So do with it what you will. So if you stop by my table and got a pattern, thank you. I heard from my table mates that people were coming by and giving compliments to my pattern. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm really honored that enough people wanted to grab that pattern. So I didn't have to go around and say, oh, please take my pattern. So let me go through my stuff that I had from my table mates. And then, so also, ironically, when I got home, I was home before, and I had a little bit of time before I had to pick up the dogs. So I had no dogs, no kids, no husband, empty house. I said, I am going to organize all my stuff from Stitchcon and put it in bags and get it ready. I'm not going to leave it on the floor. I'm not going to, put it off the side. I'm going to get it done. So I did. Proud of myself. Next day, or actually later that night, I go back up to my office and I hear a rustling, and I realize that my dog Dipper has gotten into the bag. I didn't put it up high, which was my stupid fault. He's gotten into the bag of all of my Stitchcon freebies that I had put, and he has eaten a piece of candy. Now, thankfully, he did not consume any fabric, floss, or a finished creation that I got, because then I would have just really cried. He's already in the doghouse. He did eat a bit of a cross stitch earlier. I don't know if dog shaming is still allowed on the internet, but maybe I'll post a picture of his bad behavior. But anyway, so I'm going through going, oh no, Dipper, what have you done? And he got into my table gift from my friend Irina, which is an apple, because she is from the Big Apple, Brooklyn, New York City, and got out a piece of candy that she'd given us, what her favorite candy, and it's international candy. It's Russian or Ukrainian, so I can't get it like at the store unless I go find an international store. And he got that out. He ate it. He loved it. Threw it away in the trash can. He dug through the trash can later and also got out the wrapper. But he thankfully did not eat anything else. So, because we'd be in trouble if he had eaten anything else. I don't even know that business. So I got from my table mate Irina this very fun and very beautiful needle minder, and it is Ukrainian design. I also got some floss and a sticker for representing New York. So that was the first gift that Dipper sank his teeth into. But thankfully didn't get anything else. From my table mate Kate, she made these wonderful floss holders, floss organizers. On her Cricut machine, or if it's not the Cricut machine, tell me in the comments, Kate, that if I goof that up. Kate is wonderfully talented. She is a jack of all crafts. She does a lot of things. Her Instagram is CraftyKate616. If you want to see all of her other crafts, just scrapbooking, stamping, crochet, knitting, and of course I've now said, like, you should do cross stitch because I'm a peer pressurer. And then I also enjoy on the back that it's paper, and so I can use my pencils and I can mark down the numbers and the symbols, and then when I'm done with this for a project I can reuse it. So I appreciate that because I'm still a crazy person who uses pencils. I've discovered that I'll use a pencil at work. People are like, oh man, a pencil. I haven't seen one of those in a while. I'm like, why? I gotta use a pencil. My spelling and handwriting is terrible. I gotta make sure everything's okay. From my table mate Jana, I got a vanilla soap lotion bar and some caramels that I ate. And then, of course, I got a button from Let's Hear It for Detroit. So represents from Detroit, Jana's gift. It's vanilla scented. I also got a thread tamer, which is vanilla scented from my mom. That was her table gift. I brought candy. I really wanted to make a table gift. I had some ideas of maybe doing some perler bead needle minders, but life just got in the way. So it's like I either can pack for StitchCon and be ready, or I can make gifts. So maybe next time. I did bring candy to share. Then I got from my fabulous table mate Adrian this wonderful strawberry theme bag, which I think Dipper also got some of the candies in here. I saw him with a strawberry cream in his mouth earlier, and I went, "Where the heck is that from?" But the bag is so very happy to be stitching with you. It's definitely my jam. So, and then of course, Adrian spoils us because she brings the most fabulous setup of homemade cookies and she puts them on a tiered tray and it's wonderful. So I got in there strawberry goodies, including some jam, some tea, some classic colorworks, strawberry parfait, and then a fun strawberry pincushion. All right. And then, let's see, last but not least, from my table mate Shannon of Shan's Spooky Stitches on Instagram. I've got this bag for these. There's some more stuff in it that I kind of just tossed in there, but from Shannon specifically, I got some 4th of July earrings, some red, white, and blue floss. I got a needle minder, got a free pattern, very much on theme. Of course, a bag tag, the American flag, and they're in here. Patriotic floss drops. So getting spoiled, set up on my wonderful table mates. And then of course there's also all the other goodies. I don't have them all, but if you would like to see a good recap of the fun swag that you can come get at Stitchcon, I would recommend watching Ashley X Stitching on YouTube, who I met there. And we meet so many people. I met so many people, but we didn't I didn't network. We were just having too much fun, just talking and stitching. So, but I got some fun freebies. Let's see. Let's grab some here. Oh, let's see. Where is that? It's in my lap. Sorry, folks. Okay, I got this a fun little bit from Jason X Stitches. And I thought, oh, it's like a really cute, fidget. I think it's a really cute fidget or something. It's like a rubber bead with holes in it. But no, it's for your scissors. So you don't stab yourself. And obviously I need it. So again, take 2. There we go. So it's your little scissor stop. So you can throw that in your bag and not get stabbed by your scissors while you're walking around. Which I have been stabbed by scissors and needles in my sewing bag. So I appreciate that. So thank you for that, Jason. We got the Make It and Take It from Keepsakes, as well as some really fun stickers. So that was the scissor fob for this year. And then I got my sister's samplers passed out, a beeswax needle, some needle floss, but it's the American flag in a heart. Very cute. And then let's grab it from here. I also got I got some silk from Mo Sale Silk, hand dyed. And I like a gray green kind of swamp color. I also got this fantastic freebie pattern from her gold needle. This is by Molly, and it's called Diary Doodles. And those colors are just fantastic. I believe she had a model of this in the annex. So I was really excited to have this pattern. I'm definitely going to stitch this up. She had an owl pattern as well, a barn owl that I didn't get a chance. I think the paper pattern was out by the time I made the decision. I wanted to go back and get it, but I will get a digital pattern of that one. So that was very generous of Molly of the Marigold Needle to be giving these out, free patterns at StitchCon, which I enjoyed because I had a couple of freebies from folks last year, and I need to stitch those up, man. All right, let's see. I then also got, you can't go to StitchCon without getting the StitchCon bag, and she is nice. So she's like, I guess a camping kind of bag. It's nice and, as you see, nice and tall for books and definitely for project bags. Lots of us discover like, oh man, I can toss all my project bags in here. I don't gotta carry my extra suitcase or extra tote bag that you brought all your things in there. So I basically had all of my projects at the hotel, and then whatever I wanted to work on that day, I would toss one and then maybe an extra one for fun in the project bag. I also, let's see what I got. I got many, many frogs and other things. I'm trying to track down my other frog that I got, but I also got this one from Megan, and kind of like a little demon eye frog, which was on brand for me. So keeping the frogs away while you're stitching. We also had door prizes, and I got this cool 3D printed floss box with bobbins in it. There is the design there. And I believe I have the card from the person who created it. I have lost the card, but it was Jennifer Solonsky. She didn't have a store link like an Etsy there, but she had an email, so looks like they do 3D printing, and I was excited to be able to grab one of these. Which was funny because, well, that made a really fun sound. When they were doing the door prizes, they're using a number generator. Everyone's tag on Stitchcon has a number there for your hold room number. So, and also your silent auction number and anything else you need. So they were doing the number generator, and then it would be like number one, like number one, and there's like number 1, 2, 3, and they were like, "This is rigged. These aren't real numbers." They of course were real numbers that were real people. Someone has to be number one, and someone has to be number 123, even though it sounds like fake. So I was glad that my number got called, and I got to pick up this fun floss box. So I will definitely be able to be using that. So that's what I got. So let's see what I bought. I was trying to be very, very good because I got a gift card to 1-3 Stitch from my good pal Lindsay, and I can be pretty set on fabric and floss and other things I need to kit up from them. I also want to save some money for possibly any new releases from Midsummer Stitch or Harvest Moon Hangout by Lindy Stitches. My mom also talked me into another retreat, so I'm like, I don't need to go crazy, but I do want to go a little crazy. So I'm going to pause because I left my bag on the other side of the room. All right, and we're back from the other side of the room. So let me go over what I spent my good money on at Stitchcon. So I got a little mini stitch and stash. Put your needles up in keepsakes. Stitchcon is brought onto you by Keepsakes. So they have the trunk show and the annex where you can buy at StitchCon. And then also they have their little needle workshop. And the fun thing about that is you get to ride the Stitchy bus because it is a house in a, kind of semi-residential area, like right off the main drag of the town that they're in. And it only has like a few parking spaces, and of also, the staff need to park there. So if all 50 of us people wanted to go to Keepsakes, it might cause a parking situation. So Barbara, who owns Keepsake, and her husband Joe drives the Stitchy Butts, and he takes care of the patrons of StitchCon all weekend long. And so that is that's definitely a perk that you can go ride the bus and not have to worry about parking. I also got a little floss organizer from Creative Cuts and Crafts. They had a bunch of fun things of all sorts of nerdy stuff. They had some ACOTAR stuff. Lots of, I think Disney and Star Wars. I'd get the Star Wars one. Lots of fun magnetic frames and wooden bits for finishing. So I grabbed one of these because you can never have enough of these. And this one has 20 spots on it. So pretty good thing. I also got some fabric. So I'll start off by I got this pattern first by Sue Hillis. It's Hoop-de-Doo. In my mind, it's always Halloween. And of course, I showed this to Shan at my table and said, I think you got to get this pattern because we're Halloween girlies. Um, Sue Hillis has been a local Cincinnati designer. She has retired due to reasons. But if you get a chance to grab any of her patterns, I recommend them because they're adorable. But also, she does such a great job of being the finishing instructions here. So if you'd like to finish this project the way it looks up here, all of that is there, including how to how to cut your bias for your strip. If you want to wrap the hoop. I mean, that's quality. That's quality service there in a stitching pattern. So definitely will buy any remaining ones because she does some really cute stuff. And she does some fun Halloween stuff. I also got, so because I got that, I then went to find some fun fabric. This is Under the Seas fabric. It's a 32 count linen, and the color is Artemis. I think I own, but I have never stitched on anything with a shine to it. So I thought, and of course, I didn't want them to cut it up just for this, kind of small hoop. So I figured there are definitely things that I can stitch on this fabric. I thought also maybe I have the Witchy Stitchers Live Laugh Lobotomy that I really want to get started, but I've had commitment problems. um I've seen people do it in different colors. But I kind of wanted to do something on like a more vibrant background because her palette for the colors is a very muted but lovely, black, white, and gray. So I wanted to maybe do something that would make it pop out a little bit versus sewing it on white or black fabric. So I said, just I'll keep the whole fat quarter and take it, and I will make sure that I can find something that will work for it. Stay tuned for that. Famous last words. I got a pattern from the Stitch Crypt, which is Black Phillip, Live Deliciously. I have the needle minder that goes with this, gift from my mom, so I felt like I had to get this one too. I will say this about the Stitch Crypt patterns, as well as the Marigold Needle and Fine Frog Stitching. What I really like about these is, and Lola Crow, their printed patterns are nice and big. So I don't feel the need that I have to take this to the copy machine and blow it up because I can't see anything. So I appreciate these there. So excellent, excellent quality paper pattern that you're getting. Sometimes you can get some really lovely patterns, but they're like this big. And so yeah, I have to go and blow them up on the copier. Yeah, don't like blow them up and use it to incriminate me later. And then I also got this American flag sampler from Rosewood Manor. I saw this as a model and I went, oh, I gotta get that because I am a sucker for historical things. As long as we're doing some accuracy there, I do like historical things. So basically you have these quilt blocks of all 50 states and the 13 or almost 13, I think, probably just for um sake of counting one of those out, but you have the 13 colonies and they're all in order. So it's 12 colonies because the 13 is not going to fit in there and look symmetrical. But every other one is in order, and I do believe you can do the DC quilt square as well if you want to add that onto the bottom. There's a couple of different extra designs here. What I do think when I kit this up and do it, I think I will probably omit the words just because this line right here looks really busy. And I feel like if this wasn't also very, very busy itself, it would be fine. Like if this were just doing the flag without the little bits, the quilt squares in the white part of the flag. Um, but I just think there's a little bit too many words, and I think I'll just probably do the red patterns instead and let the rest of the piece speak for itself. So that is American Flag Quilt Sampler. It got me. I saw it on the wall. I went, well, gotta put it in. They got me. And then let's see, two more things that I bought. So they had a silent auction. Every year, Stitchcon does a charity effort. So proceeds from the raffles and any sort of other donations and auctions will go to that charity. So this year it was Habitat for Humanity, and they had some really fun silent auction items, which were more in my price range than some of the big live auction items. So they go to Habitat for Humanity for central greater Cincinnati area. So they had mentioned that Sue Hillis had retired models of designs that they had done, and those were donated. So there were a couple of things or charts. But I saw this one, and I thought of my husband. So it's the Booze Brothers. And I said, well, I got to try to win that for him. We just went to Chicago for spring break. We watched the Blues Brothers while we were in the hotel room. We went to Richard Daley Plaza, and we were also looking at other places like this is where they filmed this scene in Chicago for the Blues Brothers, and it was kind of interesting to see what they use. But many of those places, since that movie is over 40 years old, have been improved. Like the area where Elwood's sketchy apartment is now by the train is now part of the park. So it's like, oh, that's nice. But I won this one, and so I told my husband, I said, I have a present for you. And yeah, it's a cross stitch, but I think you would enjoy it immensely. Because it's right up your alley. He loves Blues Brothers, and he also loves ghosts. He is a huge Ghostbuster fan, as well as ghost ghost hunting, ghost phenomena, and kind of supernatural things as well. So, and he did enjoy it. I did give it to him when he got back into town, and he did enjoy it. So, a little pulling one out there. And then also came with a second one called Sock Hop, these fun little skeletons, and the frames are in purple, and I'm a Halloween girly, so these will definitely find a spot in our house, if not for the spooky season rotation, probably just all year. But I just couldn't resist the Booze Brothers. And obviously, since these retired patterns, I don't know, I'd have to find them on the secondary market if I wanted to stitch them up. So, and then the last thing I bought was the exclusive pattern from Heart in Hand, Cecilia Turner, and then she donated all of the proceeds from this pattern at Stitchcon to Habitat for Humanity. She also does the Tiny Town series, and she donates the proceeds from there to Tiny Town to Habitat for Humanity. But a portion of the proceeds from those patterns to Habitat, but all the proceeds for this pattern went there. And of course, it was perfect. It was on brand. It's We the Women Who Work for a More Perfect Union. It came with, well, you had to buy, but I got the floss for it, the called for floss. It also has a chart. In part of the chart, I will open it without showing off the whole chart. But it has the alternative palettes if you'd like to stitch your gal in different color, which I think I definitely will change this gal up, because I'm imagining mine and yours and many people's pasty white European descendants who came to this country possibly during the 1800s and walked across the Great West to get to new land probably weren't as white and pasty anymore, because there was no sunscreen, and they're walking that Oregon Trail or the Yukon Trail, wherever they were going to get out west. So they probably were not pale when they got there. And then remained to not be pale as they continued. So that was a generous offer. And I think once everyone said, "Oh, these proceeds of this are going to charity," we're like, well, we got to get it. And then everyone at my table got this, so we're actually going to start this as a stitch along in July. So maybe a little bit more of my alternative 250 for July. We're going to start this and see how we go. So look forward to showing you guys that one in my next video. And then last thing, what I'm going to do before I show off what I stitched is I'm going to flip my camera and I'm going to show off my stuff on flat on the desk, because I'm kind of a buffoon holding things up to the camera and being shaky, and I don't want people to get a headache watching me. I mean, you can get a headache watching me for other reasons on this video, but I don't want you to get a headache because I can't hold up things and make them look good. So, but my last thing that I got was for the Smalls Exchange. So I got this adorable pillow from Dottie of Stitching Scotties. They do another wonderful recap of Stitchcon, so definitely check out their channel as well. And then I watched her earlier videos, and she said she got this as a free pattern from Stitch West. So it's stitched up gorgeously and finished lovely, which is, more than I can say about my stuff. Dottie does a lot of finished objects. She said this was part of her 13 for 2026 for the sesquicentennial 250th anniversary. Ugh, big words. I'm not at work and I don't have to use Latin today, so I'm not at church. I ain't at work, so no Latin. But thank you so much, Dottie, for making this, and I had a fun time doing the Smalls Exchange. I gave away another Sue Hillis design, which was the crab that I showed off last time, and it went to a nice woman, Roxanne, and I was excited to see that they were kind of in a coastal state, because my biggest fear is I would give this beach-themed cross stitch to someone who's like, thank you so much. I am in Montana. I'm in a landlocked place. Or like me, like Ohio. I'm like, I am in Ohio. I am nowhere near the beach. So I'm glad they enjoyed it. And it looks like everyone had a great time doing the Smalls Exchange. I did make a fun joke because, everyone got their stuff. They opened it. They went and met they went and showed off their table, and then they went back to the table to see who made it. So I made the joke of, go up there and meet your maker. All right, dad puns are free. So thank you for this again, Dottie. And I think what I'm going to do, since I had said I didn't want my dog to get into it, and he almost got into it, because he probably thinks, well, if not toy, why toy shaped? But I actually have some items, some antique stuff from the bicentennial from 1976. I was not alive then, but I have a cup from the Coca-Cola company with Mickey and Donald and Goofy and Revolutionary get up, so I have that cup. And then I also my grandmother moved into assisted living, and we were doing the whole okay, like, come through the house and what would you like, and I looked recently to some stuff that I had grabbed, and I found a souvenir Liberty Bell, and it is also from the bicentennial. So I think what I'm going to do is put this up in the china cabinet next to those two items, because I feel like this is a lot more on brand and antique with that versus, some of the stuff that people, some of the plastic junk that people are just shilling out for $250. Really rather appreciate the handcrafts and patterns that you can get instead of just, the Temu and Dollar Tree junk that everyone's trying to sell. So I'm going to put this by the antiques in the china cabinet with the doors closed so the doggos can't get it. So I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm going to do a setup. Hopefully the mic stays on. And I'll show you what I stitched. And we are back. I would say this is take number 2, but it's actually take number 3. I did one and my headset mic kept smacking and going off, so it was awful. So let's do it again once more with feeling. I did find the card for the person who made the 3D bobbin box, as well as other 3D goodies that they gave away. So they don't have a link, but I'm going to hold that there. If you'd like to take a screenshot of it, that is their contact information. That's Jennifer who made that box. So they've got the 3D printer hookup. Amazing. I love 3D cross-stitch printed stuff. So let's talk about what I worked at Stichcon. Not in any order. I brought 5 projects and I sewed a little bit on each one of them. First was my Lionel huts, which I kind of waited till the last day of Stitchcon to do. Just because I didn't have to change fabric, change colors or anything like that. Just something nice and easy because, you know, we partied hard at Stitchcon. We had lots of fun. Sometimes I needed something easy. So I got a couple more letters on this because I want to see how the letters are going to look. And then I need to get down to this area here and work on the scales of justice that I designed, and let's see how it looks on a test stitch. Okay, this is very much a guinea pig project. I am nowhere near a professional pattern designer, just a amateur one for weird things that I like. And if you like The Simpsons and those deep cuts, Lionel Huts works for me. I work in a law office, so that's what I'm working on to finish up Lionel Huts. But I got a couple of stitches in that. Pretty easy. All right. Second project, not particularly in any order that I worked on, was Under the Full Moon by the Stitch Grip. I saw some other people sewing some Stitch Grip patterns, so I was in good company there. People at Stitchcon have very good taste. This was an exclusive from Lindy Stitch's Harvest Moon Hangout, and it is quite possible that it might be available soon for regular buyers. If not, but I started working on that. I had kind of just finished the one tree branch, started on the owl, but I decided to work on the vines. And as you can see, this is the fun part of stitching, where stuff is really coming together. And what looks like blocks of colors is now before coming into something that looks something real. And as you can tell, Night Spirit Studio did an absolutely fabulous job designing this. And I have many other owl patterns that I want to do and start on, but I feel like this one should be finished up first. So, another look here at Under the Full Moon by Night Spirit. No, sorry, not the Stitch Crypt. The Stitch Crypt. So, worked on that a bit. This one I brought, and I swear I worked on it, but not so much at Stitchcon. This was Carolyn May's Pumpkin Harvest. This was a May WIPGO call that I ignored because I was doing other things in May, finishing up projects, but I decided to pick this one up. And I will probably keep this on my Lowry stand as my Silo Witches, which was my Lowry stand project, is not there anymore. So my main plans are to finish up this border and hopefully getting all of these pumpkins to match. So I've got, 2 rows of pumpkins. We're more than halfway through this pumpkin row, and then I'll feel more confident of tackling all of these inner motifs. So this is by Carolyn Manning, Pumpkin Harvest, and I enjoy this one. You can see how vibrant these colors are. And this is only just a 9-color pattern. So also enjoying not having to switch so many colors. But like I said, we're a little bit more on this during the week after Stitchcon, but not all of it. So that is Pumpkin Harvest. And for project number 4, yeah, we're up to 4 now. Forgot it's on the Lowry stand, so I'm a liar. I do have something on the Lowry stand. So this is Cherry Blossoms. You saw a little bit before in the last Flosstube. This is by Works by ABC. And I'd had just about this corner started. little bit of the tree, and I decided I was going to stitch all of this pink. And this pattern is lovely, but is also deceptively challenging. You think it would be easy. So if you look here at this square, the whole pattern is made up of this motif. This square. All it is. This square over here. And you would think that would be really easy, but it's not. And as you can also see, it starts to kind of actually blend into that geometry where you kind of don't find the square anymore. You just start to see the trees. You see the forest for the trees? Dad puns are free. Thank you. But I've done this whole pink. I need to go back in and finish up any leftover brown parts of this tree, and then any extra pink parts of this tree as well. And then, again, this was a WIPGO call. I finished my 7 days working on it for June, but we're pretty close to it, so I guess I have to finish this little part of pink, and then there's another tree over here, which probably will fit in here. It's not a very big pattern. And then down here is the grass and the path, and there's not changing of shades of pink in here, so I think that one will go a lot faster for me if I can keep the triangles and diamonds together. There are several colored highlighters being used to mark this one up. So that is Cherry Blossoms by Works by ABC. And then my last one that I had was my Juneteenth Patriotic Stitch, Alternative America Stitch. So I was walking around on Juneteenth while everyone was doing fabulous other historical work. Another thing I don't think I mentioned when I was talking about Stitchcon before is the Keepsakes group did an amazing job of their theme this year, which was Stitching Through History, highlighting women from history. They had amazing displays. There's also setups as well with some props. And what I appreciated is they didn't just, pull your random basic, stuff from a textbook of like, name a famous American woman. Oh, Amelia Earhart, Eleanor Roosevelt. All great, but they had displays featuring Elizabeth Kechny, Frances Perkin, who is the first woman U.S. cabinet member, Madam C.J. Walker, Victoria Woodhull. So they definitely went above and beyond to see what historical figures they wanted to present, and I thought that was amazing because they could have just done a basic stitch of what was going on, and the basic theme, a patriotic thing for the 250th anniversary. So I kind of appreciate their alternative 250 celebration, even though I don't think that was what they had in mind. But astounding work, Keepsakes team. As a history nerd, I appreciate your work. I walked around on Juneteenth with my General Sherman shirt, representing the great state of Ohio, William Tecumseh Sherman, and I stitched up Captain America. Now, when people recognized the shield and the star, they said, "Oh, you're doing Captain America?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, it's his backside." And then, if you were intrigued by that post about his backside, I then had the picture of the whole pattern, which is America's Booty by Triple Crit Stitch. But I didn't also want to run around going like, "Oh, what a nice," people are going to like, "Oh, what nice stitching you have. What is it?" It's like, it's America's ass. It's Captain America's butt. I am, a deranged person. This is what I'm stitching. So, but I don't know why I thought I would be finishing this anywhere near the 4th of July unless I just stop everything, and we're not even like an eighth of the way full. That's about how long it's gonna be gridded out. Yeah, if I put it down. So it's a full coverage pattern, and I think it's about 12, 13 colors, so it's not, super simple, but it's gonna take some time, but he'll be fabulous when he's done. And then I have no clue where I'm going to hang him in my house. My husband is a huge Captain America fan, and he has another Captain America cross stitch, but don't think he would want this one. He's like, that just might be for you, honey. So, So that is what I stitched on at Stitchcon. So really quick, wrapping this up, I'm going to talk about what I have for whip goes. As I go through this absolute pile of projects over here. And okay, I'm back. I thought I had left more projects on the other side of the room, but they were just behind me. So that's a picture of what cherry blossoms will look like by Works by ABC. And so my whip go calls for June was a holiday wildcard start, a Christmas wildcard, and then my Paris opera piece, which I'm laughing because this has been called up now 3 times on the whip go board. I put it on my board 3 times. It's been called up 3 times. So, working on this right now. This is my work project. So this lives in my dress drawer at work and I stitch on it. But we actually got some really nice weather lately. Like just upper 70s, low 80s, and really sunny. So at that point, it was a better idea to go out and walk to relieve my stress instead of stitching. And that's just a little bit healthier and better for me, to be honest. But when I'm not doing that, I am stitching this. And sometimes if I get a chance to do something where I don't have to pay attention or use the keyboard, that would be great to stitch this. But I don't get called in many of those meetings. Any meeting that I'm in, I'm having to do something, taking notes, whatever, with my camera on. So this is my lunch project. I am thinking about just finishing up the sky at this point, because I started doing part of the opera house, and then there are a lot of colors in here. And I think what it was is I was getting lost. I forgot where I was when I'd pick something up. So my idea is to finish up the sky, and we've got maybe six columns left down here. It's about 1/4 of the way done, and then when I'm done, I'm going to tackle the opera house, and I'm going to do the not the parking, but I'm going to do the, I think they call it dungeon and tower and dungeon method. I'm just going to go down the rows with each color and fill it in. So hopefully I don't get lost. I'm just cracking up that this is the Whip Go project that's been called so many times, and I think this is going to look really nice further. When I'm stitching it really close, I'm like, what is this going to look like? But when it's further away, you can really kind of start to see the soft colors and blends of this palette to make it look like it's a piece of art. And let me grab the photo. It's from Panna Cross Stitch. It is all in Russian alphabet. I don't know which is what, so this is going on a hope. This is, as you can see, this is where we're kind of right now on the opera house. And then once I get the sky done and the opera house done, I get to stitch all these fun little people. I think when I get down to here, this floor is probably going to meet my, my next challenge. Because I feel like this part's going to be very boring, but I need to finish it. So that is my Whip Go call for July. And then July call was a holiday wild card, Christmas wild card. So I have spots for a Halloween start and a Christmas start, and I just called it a wild card because I didn't want to say which one. And it's fitting because it's Christmas in July, accidentally. I'm going to take these out of the package because they're kind of glary. So pretty sure I picked both up on a tour to stitch going around. So I have a JBW Designs English Plum Pudding, which kind of has that. I don't know if it's showing up as well, but I feel like if I get this one, it calls for pearl cotton and Weeks Dye Works. I might just use regular DMC, but I think I might use pearl cotton for the white to make it stand out, especially whatever fabric I pick. Or I can do this one, by Jardin Privé. I'm going to make sure my French doesn't sound awful. Not that my high school French teacher is watching or cares. But this is a fun monochromatic print. And they have it stitched in the variegated DMC 1/115 thread. 1/15 thread, which I believe I picked some up at my local needlework shop because I think I do want to start this sometime. But I don't know if I want to keep going because I'm doing the cherry blossoms, which is in variegated. And I do enjoy a Danish stitch method with that variegated floss. You have to do the full crossing method. So if you want to help me pick and you want to vote for your favorite one as a start, I don't think I'll be starting this right away. And of course, my goal is only to get 7 days in to make it a whip go on my board. So if you have a favorite, let me know in the comments section for what I'm going to do on stitching some Christmas in July. Like I said, I'm also going to start up my Sal with my friends, We the Women. So I will end off here with Cap. So thank you for sticking along. I'm hoping that the microphone lasted again this time. Whew, holy smokes. But if your algorithm brought you to my little small corner of the internet, my weird corner of the internet, and you like what you saw, give me a like, follow, or subscribe if you're so inclined. If you are stitching things, anything like this, or just, I'd love to know what you're stitching, because I like to see what other people are doing, so feel free to leave that comment as well. Like I said, I'm hoping to get to Midsummer Stitch, and then Harvest Moon Hangout, which are the virtual Lindy stitching retreats. So those are my semi-concrete plans for right now for retreats. But other than that, I want to make sure that I am polishing up my Flosstube and providing a little bit more content. You'll mostly find me on Instagram at Spring-Heeled Stitches, and that also goes to my Threads account in Spring-Heeled Stitches. I am also on Blue Sky, but I'm Spring-Heel Stitch on Blue Sky because my name was way too long. So if you're stateside, stay safe. Have a happy 4th of July. It's going to be hot. It's always hot. It's like a curse that it's like the hottest day of the summer for 4th of July. And everyone else there, I want you to be good to yourself and other. Remember, folks, we need to stab fabric, not people, because y'all are too nice and too pretty to be going to jail. So stay safe, friends, and I will see you in the next video.